URC round number 15, folks. We had a whole bunch of games on this weekend as we get to the business end of the season. I managed to catch 3 of these games in their entirety and have caught up on highlights and stats of the remainder. We'll go through some key events, some of the aforementioned stats and the standings and whatnot. You guys can let me know your thoughts. Remember, European games are coming up for many of these teams, so the continuity of the competition takes a wee break as we, not for the South Africa teams, they're going to keep on. Scarlets and Cardiff have got a match to catch up on, but for a lot of the teams, it's time to focus on Europe, and we'll take a step back from the URC. Anyway, the first one, Sharks and Dragons, I did watch this one. What a hiding. What can you say? 51-3. That's a proper hiding from the Sharks over the Dragons, boys. I mean, the Sharks scrum was immense, and this one, you'd have to say the forwards did a pretty bloody good job. I mean, penalty, big scrum early, 6-0 lead for the Sharks. Early on, the Dragons guys did kick a penalty on the quarter of an hour mark. Only points of the game for them, 6-3. And then, it gets from bad to worse, and they concede another penalty. 9-3, Moriarty has a pretty bad injury, seemingly knee-on-knee contact for him. He goes off after a long stoppage. Ox gets the first try for the Sharks, a bit of power, and Bonambi gets the next try for the Sharks. It's all the forwards, man. Just pure power. Cock gets one for the backs in the second half. He's got some proper wheels. That makes it 30 points to 3. And then they get a penalty try. That one's Josh Lewis with a deliberate knock-on. So that's the bonus point for the Sharks, making it 37-3. Another penalty try and another yellow card makes it 43-3. I think the ref at the one point had to stop the game when the TMO talked to him, but he took the TMO out of another yellow card because it would have been like 15-12. But it stays 15-13. The Sharks use that width with the two-man advantage. Fulmich gets the next try, so they're running in tries for fun by that point. And what can you say? It's a proper hiding. Not the easiest of tours for the Dragons boys. And sure enough, they got pretty well beaten. The stats are all lopsided. Run meters 518 to 142. Clean breaks 9-2. The Dragons guys had less ball, but 17 turnovers conceded to 11 by the Sharks. So just nothing really doing for them. They conceded 12 penalties to 5. Sharks really looking the business for this one. Cock has 2 clean breaks, 7 defenders beaten. Buthelezi, the Lucy, has 74 run meters and beats 4 defenders, having a bit of fun. The flanker, Ben Fry, has 13 from 16 tackles, which is not a bad shift, all things considered. But the Sharks are 8-5-1. That's 8 wins, 5 losses, and a draw. They are in 8th. The Dragons are 1-10-1. So still just the solitary win for them thus far this season. The next one, Glasgow and Zebre, I didn't watch. Probably glad I didn't, just in terms of if you're going to pick games. I wouldn't have usually picked to watch a 51-3 game, but I wanted to watch a game that was on the Friday. 40 points to 12 is kind of a similar scoreline. I like watching games where the final few minutes it's competitive. If that's how I'm going to choose games, and none of my teams are involved directly, like my Blues or the All Blacks, those are the ones I'm probably watching. So the first 2 real blowouts. Neutrals aren't getting as much value for them in terms of edge of your seat stuff. So Glasgow gave Zebre a bit of a hiding as well. 40 points to 12. Bonus point win for them. And it's the forwards, man. Maul try. 7-0. Quick recycle ball from the forwards. 14-0. Another one through the forwards. 21-0. And the bonus points in the bag. That time it's the scrum half. What's his name? Dobby. He gets the 3rd try. So at least, they shared the love around a wee bit. But Matthews gets a hat-trick. The forwards were just having fun. So, Zebre, Fusco, the halfback for them, did get an intercept before halftime. So Zebre finished each half with a try. But when you're conceding as many as they conceded, that doesn't make that much of a difference. They did have a yellow card for a while, Zebre, and not concede any points during that in the second half. But, the Maul was just having fun. Like I mentioned, consolation makes it 40 points to 12. Interestingly, it's a funny one with the stats because Zebre's got more run meters, 380 to 275. Glasgow kicked it a lot more, 28 to 12 kicks. 12 kicks is really very few in a game. Some teams can kick up to 40 times in a game, so 12 is really low. Zebre had the only 2 clean breaks of the game, but 12 mauls from the Glasgow guys. It's just their forwards punishing them, and 21 turnovers conceded for Zebre to 10. Like 10's nice, 21's way too high. It's usually in the teens. So, yeah, don't know what was going on with Zebre there. Dempsey, 69 run meters, beats 2 defenders. Cronje, the 13 for Zebre, makes 13 from 13 tackles. But, yeah, it's not been Zebre's season. It's another loss. A massive one in this case. They're none from 13 in 16th spot. Glasgow a third at 10 and 5, so it's sitting pretty well with them. Benetton and Connacht, this is the one game I probably wish I had watched, just based on the way it finished. This had a proper edge-of-your-seat finish. And I didn't know the results going into any of the highlights or the games. So even the highlights kind of had me wondering what was going to happen. It was seemingly a very good watch. I mean, it started pretty bloody well for Connacht. 53 seconds, Prendergast gets on the board. Some proper good steps for that one, 7-0. Benetton kicks a penalty, 3-7. But then Connacht get another try, this time through Murray on 19 minutes. So if you're going to get penalties and we're going to get tries, it's usually going to end better for the team scoring tries, right? So 14-3 is looking pretty nice. And that's the score at half-time. Suddenly, there's no highlights until 10 minutes almost into the second half. So what happened between 20th minute and like the 40 whatever minute, it's hard to say. For me, you guys will have to let me know. But Padavani does get a try for Benetton. It was pretty well worked. Seemed they went through quite a few phases for that one. Good passing. So 14-10, that's proper game on. And then Connacht concede a yellow card. Too many penalties. It's a 5-metre scrum for Benetton. Halafihi off the back of that scrum. Powers over. So Benetton actually take the lead. We have a lead change, people. A lead change. So 17-14 with the Benetton guys in front. But in the last 10 minutes, the Connacht guys managed to turn it around. It's Benetton's turn to get a yellow card under pressure. 5 metres out. And Connacht power over. So they get that 21-17 lead. And they hang on to it for a very pretty good away victory, man. So run meters 310, 352 with Connacht edging that. Connacht got the possession in the territory. Benetton 2-minute turnovers conceded 14-7. Penalties conceded though 17 by Connacht, just 10 by Benetton. So some kind of interesting numbers for a game I didn't watch in its entirety. Halafihi though, 48 run meters, a clean break, 3 defenders beaten, pretty solid. And the Connacht centre, Farrell, 74 run meters, a clean break, and 4 defenders beaten. Also a pretty effective shift. So Connacht, they are 7 and 8, so it's still a losing record for them, but they are in 9th at Benetton, 4 wins, 9 losses, and a draw in 13th for them. The next one I did watch because it was a pretty well-built game. I didn't watch it live, I watched it on demand. The Bulls and Ulster with the old cheapo tickets for Loftus, like 25 Rand or something, a couple of bucks. They seem to get a pretty decent crowd. Best crowd I've seen at Loftus in a while. They should probably do that for Ellis Park because the Ellis Park looked pretty deserted in comparison. I would have liked to see more, to be honest, for that price, but it's a good start. And it's one of those games where if you're going to get a bunch of people who haven't been coming to the rugby for a while into the game, you want to entertain them. And the first half maybe wasn't that. I mean, McElroy goes off injured in an aerial challenge with Tumbwe early, which is not great news for Ulster. But then it's all Ulster. But they can't score. They can't break this Bulls defence. They kick a penalty to make it 3-0. I think Doak was loving the altitude for the kicks, eh? Bulls reply, make it 3-3. Doak gets a couple more to make it 9-3 at halftime. The crowd's looking a bit bored for a size of that crowd it was. But they get treated to some entertainment in the second half, which is good because they're going to go away from that game, hopefully wanting to come back next week or whenever the next game is on at Loftus, because I think the Bulls are away next week. But yeah, you know what I mean. Hopefully these guys are going to come back, even if hopefully they keep the low ticket prices. But anyway, Doak misses a penalty. Tumbwe goes close for a couple of tries, and he seems like he's in the mood that he really wants one. He is going to get one a wee bit later, but Marcel Coetzee gets the first one for the Bulls versus his old team. So he finally goes over from close range, 10 points to 9, and it's 13 points to 9 with a penalty. Tumbwe got one from turnover ball. Like I said, he really wanted one. He got it on 56 minutes. So the game's starting to slip away from the Ulster boys, 20 points to 9. But they did keep the game alive through Marshall. Madigan, the nice little inside ball for that one. So 20 points to 16. That's proper game on. But then Treadwell gets a yellow card and the Bulls punish them pretty much immediately. It's a maul, 27-16, so Krobola gets that one. And then Coetzee gets a yellow card as well. That one's for a high tackle. So it's 14 on 14, but during that period, Arendse show some proper wheels to get an intercept and cruise over for the bonus point try for the Bulls guys. So the scoreline blows out a wee bit, 34 points to 16, but it was a bit of an arm wrestle. Like I said, we had a lead change in this one too. The Ulster boys were in front come half time, but 4 tries to 1 in that second half. So yeah, hopefully the fans in Pretoria go home happy, having been entertained in that second half. Ulster got more possession and territory, but the clean breaks is 4-1 to the Bulls. The offloads is 10-1 to the Bulls. Arendse 115 run meters, a clean break, and 5 defenders beaten. Henderson 10 from 10 tackles, solid shift from the big lock, but yeah, they go away with another loss. Ulster are still second though at 10-5. The Bulls are 8-6. They are in 7th, and they are playing next week. They are away to the Stormers. I forgot to mention the Sharks are away to the Lions earlier. Yeah, the next one, speaking of the Lions, the game I didn't watch. This might have been another one to watch, albeit a bit of a low-scoring one. If you want to see a pretty sweet drop goal, you can see one through Immelman in this one. Huge on about 11 minutes. Massive drop goal. He could have kicked that from way further back. It had huge legs on it. 3-0, and then 28 minutes, it's 6-0 to the Edinburgh boys. Looking pretty solid. But the first try of the game comes through Hendrickse. I think it's the scrum half who kind of sniped down the blind side for the Lions boys, and they managed to end up converting from it. So 5 points to 6 at halftime. So we do get a lead change in this one as well. Bradbury gets yellow carded for an off-the-ball tackle. The Lions punish them immediately. Great hands from the forwards, man. The Lions, in my recent viewings of them, they just love chucking the ball around. They're really fun to watch, and it's good that they're winning. Vincent Chituka gets the try for that one, so 12 points to 6. Edinburgh kick a penalty to make it game on. A few minutes later, the Lions boys resume the kind of put the lead back to the way it was. So it's 15 points to 9. That's the way the game finishes. So yeah, run meters 302 to 534 to Edinburgh. Possession and territory with Edinburgh. Defenders beaten with Edinburgh. Scoreboard, Lions. So yeah, that would have been maybe an interesting one to watch. But you never know going into these games. I just pick them, and hopefully I get entertained and get close matches. But sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Kinghorn 87 run meters, a clean break, and 5 defenders beaten for Edinburgh. Vincent Chituka, man, 56 run meters, defender beaten, 12 from 14 tackles, proper work rate from him, plus that try. Happy days. Not so happy days for the Ospreys boys. They are on a bit of a bad run. They were up kind of the top end of the table early weeks of this competition, but it's gone a little bit wrong for them. 29 points to 13 loss away in Cape Town. They did open the scoring with a penalty, but then the Stormers scored a try. Libok taking the ball to the line. He seems to be in really good form. Sets up to Vet on 5 minutes, so 7 points to 3. And then the Stormers scored a pretty amazing one through Smith on 9 minutes. The way they kept the ball alive was just pure entertainment stuff. Like, if you miss the South African teams, it's worth jumping on the URC bandwagon, because when they're on this great run of form in South Africa at home at the moment, they are fully entertaining everybody who's viewing. So 14 points to 3. Ospreys kick a penalty to make it 14-6. And then they concede another try. Daimani sets up Zas. So 19-16, and then a penalty makes it 19-6, and then 22-6 at half time. Zas gets one in the second half, which makes it look pretty much effortless to do a chip and chase. It's bonkers how easy he made that look. 29-6, but he gets yellow carded later, and the Ospreys boys do manage to get one kind of consolation one right at the death, but it's way too little too late. So yeah, Stormers just too good at home, eh? Run meters 513 to 270, clean breaks 11 to 5, defenders beaten 29-9, offload 17-7. The Stormers are just killing it. Tackling percentage is 90% as well, whereas the Ospreys guys is 75. Jack Morgan does make 10 from 11 for the Ospreys guys, but I mean Zas, 106 run meters, 3 clean breaks, 5 defenders beaten, plus a yellow card, couple of tries. Busy day at the office for him. Munster and Leinster, I had to watch this one, the big Irish rivalry, and it's always an arm wrestle between these sides, eh? Like, you wait till you hear the tackling percentages. These guys, they just love crashing into it. The number of tackles they make per game is always ridiculously high. Like, some games don't even have 200 tackles in them, and these guys pretty much like aim to get 200 tackles each. Like, it's a very, unique kind of watch when you see these guys play. But I mean, Leinster will be absolutely chuffed to go to Munster and get a 34-19 bonus point win. The Munster fans and players will probably be rather disappointed. I know both sides had some guys out, but yeah, if you're a Munster fan, that's probably a pretty bitter pill to swallow. Christoph Ridley was the ref for this one. Not usually used to seeing him ref the URC, usually in the Premiership. But anyway, good crowd, seemingly. I don't think it was 100% sold out, but apparently there's other things going on. I think it was on a Sunday as well. So, was it Saturday? Might have been Sunday for me. I can't recall. Anyway, Leinster get the first points on the game. 3 points to 0 lead. They exchange penalties, so it's 3-3. They do get the first try, though, Leinster through Ringrose. And, Doris is always in the build-up to these tries, making big carries, getting over the advantage line. Doris doesn't get on the board, but he's got, at least some kind of build-up assist. If that was a stat, Doris has to be your guy for this one. Wide ball to Ringrose for the first try. They missed the conversion. Penalty exchange makes it 6-8, 6-11, 9-11, and then 12-11. Munster actually go in front. Their defence, Munster holds on for grim death before half-time, but they did concede one right before the break. So it does go on with the Leinster lead. 2 points in it. 14-12 at half-time to Leinster. But then, second half, Leinster really able to kind of exploit that space, Low down the left wing. Again, Doris in the build-up, 19-12. Interestingly, when Leinster extended the lead on, 55 minutes with a penalty, there's one or two jokers who yell out at the kickers. Munster, they like to keep things quiet, respect the kicker thing. The commentator actually called them idiots. Don't come to New Zealand because we do a lot worse than that. But I guess when there's only one or two guys in a perfectly silent stadium, that's almost more noticeable than if half the crowd's doing it. You know what I mean? But anyway, you're not used to hearing the commentator be so direct. But anyway, 22-12, so 10-point lead. And then it's getting pretty lopsided when Jimmy O'Brien gets his 1A. James Lowe in the build-up for that one with the pass. And Jimmy O'Brien, nice step, 29-12. That being said, the much-needed try did come through Damien de Allende on 63 minutes for Munster. Good build-up in that one. They had to get through, and Damien de Allende managed to go through. I think Chris Farrell had gone close. So 29-19, back to that two-score game. But then essentially it's game over when James Lowe gets his next one. That's the bonus point try. That's 34-19. So, yeah, Leinster will absolutely be chuffed with that one. Run meters 402 to 298. So Leinster had more of the run meters. They had more possession. They had more territory. But the tackles, man, like I said, some games don't even see 200 tackles. Leinster make 181. Munster make 206. Both sides in the 90s. So 95 Leinster and 93 Munster. A lot of high percentage tackling. It's just crazy. Turnovers conceded, Munster with 11, Leinster with 6. Jason Jenkins, 18 from 18 tackles from him. Jimmy O'Brien, 52 run meters, beats 4 defenders. Not a bad effort. Leinster are first, 12-3. Munster are fourth at 9-6. And the last one, the Scarlets and Cardiff. I watched the highlights of this one. Good win for the Scarlets boys. Maybe they're on a late run towards the end of the season, although to be fair, it was Cardiff opened the scoring. Penalty 3-0, exchange of penalties, 3 points apiece. The first try through Josh Adams was pretty magic. A nice kick through. Who was that guy who kicked it through? I forget his name. But it was a great little kick through. The guy played for Wales a couple of times recently. Made it 10-3, but then Scarlets got equally magic one through Costello on 21 minutes. He beats a few tackles. So some really, really good tries. Cardiff penalty 13-10. And then McNichol, man, you just can't stand off him. The Cardiff defenders let him run, and he scores a try. He gets 2 in this game, so 15-13. And then before halftime, Cardiff get a yellow card, and Scarlets punish them to make it 22-13 come halftime. Kalamafoni, though, does get a red card after scoring his try in the second half for a high tackle, so it's 14-14. But then Adams gets yellow carded, so it's 14-13, so there's lots of space there. And McNichol manages to get his double when it's 14-14. So, the Cardiff boys do get the last say with both of them going over on 78 minutes, but it's just a consolation. It's too little too late. And 35-20. So, bonus point win for the Scarlets boys. They'll be pretty chuffed. Run meters 363 to 442. So, the Cardiff boys actually edged that They also edged the position and territory, but again, it's all about the scoreboard. Costello, 47 run meters, a clean break and 4 defenders beaten. Both of them makes 12 from 12 tackles along with his try. 5 and 7 are Cardiff down in 14th. 6 and 7 are the Scarlets in 10th. So, yeah, I think these guys are playing each other this weekend. It's like one of the make-up games of the games that was cancelled earlier in the year. So there you go. Wow, 20 minutes. I better call this quits, folks. There was heaps of rugby on. Some pretty close battles. Benetton, Connacht, the Lions in Edinburgh. And then a few scores which kind of blew out, especially the first two. But, yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts on the games. As I said, we take a week break for Europe for the most part, or the South African teams, and then these two guys are back in action as well this weekend. So we'll see how things go. You guys let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.